When your heart feels lost, the world feels too big, and your spirit feels too small. That's what Mia realized the morning she sat at the edge of her bed, staring blankly at the wall, wishing someone could hand her a map for life. Nothing dramatic had happened all at once. There was no sudden tragedy, no single heartbreaking moment. Instead, life had worn her down slowly, like waves carving away at stone. There was the breakup she didn't see coming, the job she thought she'd love, but now felt trapped in, the friendships that had quietly faded like mist. It was as though everything familiar had walked away at the same time, leaving her standing in a silent room full of memories and unanswered questions. And the hardest part wasn't the pain, it was the emptiness. She rubbed her hands together, trying to ground herself. Her room felt cold, though the sun had risen hours ago. Her Bible sat on the nightstand, and pages marked with notes from a time when her faith felt like fire instead of flickering ash. She used to wake up with purpose, now she woke up with weight. God, she whispered, her voice fragile, I don't know where I'm going, I don't even know who I am right now, I feel lost. She waited, she hoped for a sudden warmth, a sign, a whisper in her heart. But silence settled around her like fog. For a moment she wondered if her prayers were going anywhere at all, or if they were floating above her only to dissolve in the ceiling. The quiet scared her more than the confusion. She used to feel God everywhere, in music, in sunsets, in the soft hum of early mornings. Now she reached, and nothing answered back. Faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it feels like reaching out in the dark, hoping you're not holding air. Show me something, she breathed, anything. But again, nothing obvious, no grand revelation, just her breath, shaky and slow, and the dull ache in her chest. She stood, moving as though every limb was heavier than normal. Her apartment seemed different today, like it held memories of who she used to be rather than who she was now. She opened the window and let the breeze rush in, carrying with it the sounds of distant traffic and children laughing somewhere down the street. Life outside kept moving, even when hers felt stuck in pause. Her phone buzzed, a message from her sister. How are you? Haven't heard from you. Mia read it, stared at it, and set her phone down. She didn't know how to answer. She didn't want to lie, and she didn't have the strength to unravel her heart into words. So she let it sit unanswered and returned to the quiet. She made coffee just for the comfort of the routine. The warmth in her hands felt grounding, even if her heart still floated aimlessly. She wrapped her fingers around the mug and whispered again, I don't know what to do. The truth was, Mia didn't need answers, she needed presence. But she didn't know that yet. She only knew the numbness, the fog, the ache of not knowing the next step. Lost is a strange feeling. It's not always chaos. Sometimes it's the stillness that scares you. She decided to walk, no destination in mind, just movement. Sometimes moving felt better than sitting with questions. She threw on a sweater and headed out into the crisp afternoon sun. The world was bright in a way her heart wasn't ready for, but she kept walking, hoping somewhere between steps she'd feel anchored again. At the corner of her street was a small church. Old stone, worn steps, a wooden cross that had weathered seasons and storms. She had passed it hundreds of times but never gone inside. Today, though, something tugged at her. Not a loud pull, just a gentle, quiet invitation. Come, she hesitated. Churches meant expectations, sit, stand, pray, believe. And she wasn't sure she could do any of that right now. But her feet moved anyway, as though her heart knew something her head didn't. Inside, the sanctuary was nearly empty. Soft light filtered through stained glass, painting colors across empty pews. It smelled like old wood and calm, the kind of sacred hush that wraps around you before you even realize you need it. Mia sat near the back, afraid to be seen, but desperate not to feel alone. She didn't kneel. She didn't fold her hands in a perfect prayer pose. She just sat and breathed. And for the first time in days, she didn't feel like she had to hold herself together. An older woman sat down quietly a few pews ahead. She didn't look back or speak, but the simple presence of another person felt like a lifeline. Sometimes God sends people without them even knowing they are answers. Mia bowed her head slightly, more instinct than decision. Words didn't come, and not at first, just a sigh, shaky and full of longing. And then, finally, a prayer rose from somewhere deep inside her, softer than a whisper. God, I don't know where I am. I don't know where to go. But please don't leave me in this place. If I can't see the path, then just be with me here. Let me feel you again. The tears came then, slow, quiet, but real. Her body shook not from sadness, but from release. She hadn't realized how tightly she'd been holding every fear, every doubt, every silent ache. Letting go hurt, but it also freed something inside her. The sanctuary remained still. No voices filled her mind. No miracles unfolded before her, but something shifted, subtle but powerful, like the first warmth of sunlight after winter. A gentle calm settled in her chest, not removing her confusion but holding her through it. She inhaled deeply, and for the first time in a long time the breath didn't feel heavy. Hours passed like minutes. When she finally stood, the weight was still there, but lighter, somehow. Not gone, but softened, helped. She walked toward the door, her steps steadier, her heart softer. The older woman looked up as Mia passed. She didn't speak, but she smiled, a knowing, gentle smile, the kind that says, I've been lost too. You're not alone. Outside, the air felt different. The sky looked wider. The wind brushed her skin like a quiet reassurance. She wasn't fixed, but she was held. And sometimes being held matters more than being sure. In the days that followed, nothing changed instantly. There were still hard mornings, unanswered questions, moments when doubt whispered in the shadows. But Mia prayed the same simple prayer each day, be with me here, even if I don't know the way. And each time, peace came, not in floods, but in steady drops, like rain softening dry ground, like dawn breaking slow but certain. She started journaling again. She reached back out to her sister. She let herself dream small, then gradually bigger. Slowly, gently, life returned. Her purpose didn't shout, it unfolded. Her hope didn't explode. It rebuilt itself one quiet moment at a time. One evening months later, she sat by her window, watching the city lights shimmer like distant stars. She held her Bible again, not because someone told her to, but because she wanted to. Her voice was steady this time when she prayed. Thank you for not leaving me lost. Even when I felt nothing, you were guiding me. Even when I couldn't see, you stayed. I didn't need a map, I just needed your presence. And she understood now, feeling lost isn't failing. Sometimes it's the doorway to deeper faith. Sometimes God doesn't give direction first. He gives himself first, because peace in his presence matters more than clarity about the future. She smiled softly, tears warm but peaceful. I'm not lost anymore, she whispered. I'm held. And that, she realized, was all she ever truly needed. Not perfect understanding, not a flawless plan, just the gentle strength of a God who never lets go, even when her hands felt too weak to hold on.